Airbnb revolutionized the way that we rent out our spaces. However, the charm is rubbing off. Airbnb is failing you as a host. In this video, I'm going to talk about the incentives Airbnb has to its guests, my experiences with the platform, and ultimately a solution to help you take back control. So first, let's talk about the incentives that Airbnb has to its guests. Airbnb charges guests, and I think that this changes, but it's about 15% on every booking of total revenue. Every time, they're taking 15% away. What they charge hosts is actually around 3%, just depending on your location, but 3%. All in all, they're putting 18% together in order to make a transaction happen. Airbnb is actually a lead generation platform, so of course they're going to be outward looking. Who can we grab? How can we provide better experiences? What are the things that we can do to make sure that people are using our platform instead of going to hotels? And from the host perspective, it kind of sucks. You're only paying the 3%, which is nice, but there's also the convenience and ease of using Airbnb. However, you start to get into some problems when there's actually any form of dispute or problem with the guest or something that's happening or something that's out of your control. It doesn't change the fact that Airbnb at a moment's notice can switch up on you to whatever that looks like for the guests in order to put them in a much better situation than you. But really, we're just having the problems with Airbnb treating hosts as, a partner in this whole deal. What they're saying is, we don't really need you. There's so many of you, we don't really need you. And we really want the people who provide the best experiences, whereas there's been generations of Airbnb. There was the generations where it was just sleep on your couch. There was the generation of where it's oh, now we've got an entire house for you. And you know what? We'll clean it for you. It's really our second home. And now there's the generation of investments. So people want to invest in these because they're high cash flow. And that's what you as a host most likely want, right? You want a property that's going to cash flow for you a bunch, but you're also providing people with a better experience, providing them with an opportunity to stay somewhere for, short-term rental being underneath 30 days or medium-term rental where it's hey, I'm going to allow you a flexible leasing opportunity so you can stay here for longer periods of time. However, Airbnb is still taking a lot of this money away from the whole situation. And there's not a lot of control that you can really have because they're more outward looking. They're more here, we've got all these people that we can get. We've got these guests. We're the next hotel site. Except for the one thing they're forgetting is that the entire reason that people come to the platform is because of you, the host. The one that really put yourself out there, put your platform out there. These are a lot of reasons why Airbnb is incentivizing itself to guests into helping them, but they're leaving kind of us at the wayside. My experiences with Airbnb have been good, bad, and indifferent, but it really kind of depends on who you're getting. I have 15 Airbnb listings right now. A lot of the guests are really great. It's really difficult to avoid the bad ones as well. You can vet, you can do all these different pieces, but they will slip through the cracks every once in a while. What they'll do is they won't even tell you that there's a problem or that they're having a bad day or a bad situation. They'll just leave it as a review for you. And there's been a couple of times where you get these bad reviews, and the most recent one for me was, oh, the place wasn't clean, you had a 6 p.m. check-in time, 3-star, not a good experience. It's really difficult because, number one, we put our check-in time up front for you, 6 p.m. Now, I have some reasons behind this strategy, and oftentimes people are checking in much sooner than that. It's a whole thing, but it allows for our cleaners and handyman to get in there if there's any damage. But ultimately, when you signed up for this Airbnb, you knew that there was a check-in period, right? And so that's the problem that I'm really having is so I called Airbnb basically to refute this review. Number one, because we tell people up front what our check-in times is, right? They know what our check-in times are. So it shouldn't be a surprise. And you as a guest, if you're thinking at this and you're wow, 6 p.m. is really late, it's then don't book. You don't have to. Nobody's forcing you to. So it's kind of wild that, if you decide to book an Airbnb and they tell you what the deal is up front, that on the back end, you would have problems with that. Number two is the cleaning piece. As an Airbnb superhost, I will never leave you dry as a guest. If you let me know that the place is not clean, I will make sure that cleaner goes back in there, goes through every aspect of what you need to be clean. It is unacceptable from my perspective that we would do anything less than perfect for you as our guest. Having said that though, we also require all of our cleaners to provide photos or videos of every single clean that they do. And so when we got this bad review and they said that, oh, the place isn't clean, I went back and looked to see what the photos were before these people checked in. And guess what? Turned out the place was really clean. And so you ask your cleaners to basically provide you with photos not just so you can check their word, but also in cases like this where Airbnb claps back on you and they're like, you got this bad review, this is going to affect your listing. What happens when you start to dispute these reviews, right? As a part of disputing this with Airbnb, I was like, hey, I'd like to dispute this because not only did they not talk about it in terms of like the conversation during their stay, I have pictures that'll basically prove to you that the place was clean beforehand. I was just so thrown back when Airbnb was like, we don't care about the truth when it comes to like your listing or your time and date stamp, your photo had of the entire area, especially the areas where they said it wasn't clean. These are problems that you're going to have with Airbnb. And I found in my own experience, I have to call 5-10 different times in order to get a review ultimately removed because there'll be somebody that you can end up reaching. It's just, you have to go through hours upon hours of bullshit. So frustrating. If this is your livelihood, like it is becoming for me, this is the business that I want to have. And I'm not trying to provide people with less than excellent. And if you're a new host, one of the things that they'll end up doing is like, if you have a problem with a guest or a guest has to like cancel for some reason, what they'll end up doing is they'll say, hey, you owe these people money. Not, hey, here's your policy, here's your rights, here's what you can do with this. No, what they'll say is, well, I'd probably give them what they want, or else they're going to provide you with a bad review. To a certain extent, it's kind of like they're blackmailing you into giving the guests what they want. They're positioning their entire review system so that you continue to do what they want you to do. That's really problematic because, a lot of you out there, especially if you're new, you're not going into this with the mentality that I want to be a slumlord host. I want to do things as cheaply as possible. I want to provide people with a bad experience. This isn't the case. If you're doing Airbnb, you have to have a good experience for people. People will provide you with critical feedback that will be accurate to your listing. So make sure that you're getting that piece right. Airbnb and the support that they'll provide is minimal at most. Now, the solution starts with having and using multiple different OTAs. Airbnb, VRBO, direct booking websites, booking.com, that kind of stuff. Starting to really kind of move over onto other platforms. If you're just getting started and if you just have your one listing, try Airbnb, perfect that first, right? So you want to get to Superhost there, but then move on to VRBO and then perfect VRBO also while at the same time being Superhost, Premier Host. These are things that you can do to kind of scale right away and then continue to go out into booking.com. The long-term plan for you should be to have your own direct booking website. What that means and what it entails, because I know it's scary, I know it's really scary, but the direct booking website is basically your own website where you have all of your listings and people can book directly through there. There's no 15% fee, there's no 3% fee to you as a host. Instead, what you're doing with the money that you're making, and if you do charge a fee to people, it's only to cover the marketing fees that you're already using in order to put it out there into the world. What is Airbnb doing for you? Their lead generation. What are you doing for yourself with a direct booking website? You're marketing, which is going to be your lead generation. Instead, you decide to do it all yourself and have your own direct booking website that you control. That's going to be fantastic. Number one, you own it, baby. These are your listings. You can totally integrate with a property management software. There's a lot of them that'll do it, and basically it'll control it. So you can do Airbnb still and have your own direct booking website. On Bigger Pockets, they had a guy come on and he had talked about how he would like to get to 65% direct through his own website and then 35% through OTA, not having too many of your eggs in a single basket. And if you have eggs in baskets, put them in your own basket, right? Put yourself first. Airbnb is going to be around forever. I personally believe it's more about flexible leasing strategies that'll be around forever. Whether it's Airbnb or VRBO or whatever, it's all about the strategies themselves that have been implemented. As I said, Airbnb revolutionized a lot of things. However, you can use these same strategies and apply it to your own website, which is going to be absolutely massive for you. Your own website is going to open up so many doors for you for referrals, for you to really control the guest experience. If they actually have problems, let me help you. You're not going to go off a tangent, be a completely different host that you would have been on Airbnb. You're going to provide them with so much more. And there's a lot of really cool ways to help people kind of move. And that guy from Bigger Pockets really just kind of changed my mind a lot. His name is Mark. I'll try to link him down below. But ultimately he had said, if you have a check-in time, like I said for myself, 6 p.m., maybe if people are willing to book directly through you, Say, hey, it's a 3 p.m. check-in. Provide these incentives so that people will start moving over there. And then eventually, each one of your listings will have repeat customers, referrals. The process will just continue. And then they'll want to book with you every time, because then they're not going to have to worry about the fee piece. They'll know that their money is going directly to you, and you're going to take care of them and their experience. You can still have a review platform. You can still have people coming in and checking everything out. And you can still be vetting these people by asking them all the same things you would have done on Airbnb. The difference is just that you have full control over it. If a guest is terrible to you, you have your own rights to reinforce the agreements that you have these people sign. And so there's not a lot different. It's just that you're taking Airbnb out of the fold. You're not allowing someone else to tell you what you can do with your property more than the government is already kind of doing in certain areas. Or like an HOA, right? Where they try to tell you what to do. When you're doing it through Airbnb, you have Airbnb you have to worry about. Maybe you have your HOA you have to worry about. Maybe you have your county to worry about in terms of like getting permits or whatever the case is. With your direct booking website, it's really just going to be you and the county or you and the HOA, but like you don't have that third component weighing you down. You don't have to be worried about declining somebody or saying, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. You don't have these terrible incentives to say no to people, which is ultimately the hardest part as an investor. And like, as when you're just beginning, it's really hard to say no because you can't even fathom that you would say no to somebody that wants to stay in your place. But as you continue to grow, as you continue to develop, direct booking is going to be your best friend. There's going to be more work. You got to build a website. You're going to have to figure out how to do the marketing for yourself. However, you'll have the freedom to take it to that next level. So let me know what you thought about this. Leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel. What hosts are out there? What are you guys doing? What strategies are you implementing? Are you thinking about direct booking? Have you had problems with Airbnb? Let me know down below. I'd love to connect with all of you. Until next time, peace.